The suspect involved in an officer-involved shooting in Knox County last night has died. Good evening and thanks for joining us for 44 News at 6. I'm Amanda Decker. 8 people are facing federal drug trafficking charges after a months-long investigation into Evansville's heroin supply. The U.S. Attorney's Office says the 8 individuals named in this indictment are responsible for distributing nearly 10 pounds of heroin to communities here in the tri-state. 44 News reporter Lauren Leslie has the latest on the arrests and this case. All across the tri-state, people are dealing with rising floodwaters in Newburgh. Crews are keeping a close eye on several roads and the areas right along the Ohio River. Water levels reached over 50 feet. That's 12 feet higher than flood stage. 2 people have died after a house fire in Crisney in Spencer County, and now that's under investigation. The Spencer County coroner says when fire crews arrived, they were able to get the flames under control, but once crews got inside the house, they discovered the bodies of a man and a woman. Vanderbilt County Prosecutor's Office files a motion to dismiss the charges against Elizabeth Fox. She is the wife of slain Evansville firefighter Robert Dorr, who died after being shot multiple times outside his Evansville home back in February. Fox was originally charged with obstruction of justice in relation to his death. Republican lawmakers are making their way to the River City for Indiana's GOP state convention this weekend. This is only the second time the convention is being held outside of the state capitol. 44 News reporter Amanda Porter is live at the Ford Center with a look ahead at the weekend events. Let's get you over to Chief Meteorologist Cameron Hopman, who is tracking the conditions on the tri-state's most powerful radar. He joins us with more. Cam. And stay with 44 News on air and online for all of your weather updates. Follow us on social media and download the 44 News app. Developing tonight amid conflicting witness reports and lingering questions, Evansville police have released body camera footage detailing this week's deadly officer-involved shooting. This comes as 45-year-old Terry Chanley was shot and killed by Evansville police Monday evening. Tonight, Aaron Huber joins us in studio with a first-hand look at what led up to his death after officers arrived on that scene. Tonight, a gruesome murder in Evansville leaves police searching for answers more than 2 years after it happened. In 2017, violent crime was on the rise in the city. Evansville had seen 19 murders by the time the year was over. Among them, 24-year-old Charles Balzell, who was gunned down September 17th. He was murdered while driving along Covert Avenue, just blocks away from the home where he grew up as a child. But his case tonight remains unsolved.
On Tuesday, the conclave or secret election to select the next pope will take place. Here's a look inside at how the entire process actually works. 115 cardinals will enter the Sistine Chapel. Only cardinals under 80 can vote for the next pope. This is where the executors will gather to collect the ballots and then count the votes. Paper ballots are passed out to each cardinal, who then writes the name of their chosen candidate on this form. But cardinals cannot vote for themselves. The ballots are then folded up, and each cardinal in order of seniority will walk to an altar to place his folded ballot into a chalice. The votes are then counted, the results read to the cardinal.
Heart disease and cancer still remain the first and second leading causes of death in the United States, respectively. But in 2020, COVID-19 virus quickly jumped toward the top of this list, passing up accidents as the third leading cause of death in the United States. But our numbers actually got high enough to reach that designation months ago. It didn't happen recently at all. COVID-19 has been the third most prevalent cause of death in the country since August, when our death toll hit 170,000. We are now about to pass the 260,000 mark, meaning it's only gotten much worse since then. And in some states like Indiana, COVID has actually passed cancer as the second leading cause of death in many counties. In August and September, about 1,000 people were dying each day across the country from this virus. Over just the last 3 weeks, that number has been closer to 2,000 people a day. Studies now show you are 10 times more likely to die from COVID-19 in this country today than you are in a car crash. So think about all the safety measures we take before we get behind the wheel, and think back to early on in the pandemic in March and April about all the extra safety precautions you were taking back then, and try to apply those now, because it is much more dangerous now in almost every county in every state than it was back in April, when we seem to be a lot more concerned. Eli, we're here at the Red Cross on Stockwell Road in Evansville, where volunteers have been answering the phones and taking in-person donations since 5 o'clock this morning for the Tri-State Cares Mediathon. Local media came together with the Red Cross to help raise money for Hurricane Harvey victims, and the donations have been coming in all day long. The total up now above $75,000. Moderna joining Pfizer today, announcing success in its COVID-19
COVID-19 vaccination trial that it has proven to be effective in preventing infections. Their trial involved 30,000 participants who were given either a placebo or the actual drug. 95 participants contracted COVID-19 after getting those shots, but 90 of those were people who received the placebo version. 11 cases turned out to be severe, but none of the vaccinated patients suffered from severe symptoms. They found the vaccine was 94.5% effective in preventing COVID-19 infections. This news all comes just 1 week after Pfizer announced its vaccine was about 90% effective in preventing infections. Both drugs do require 2 shots. Pfizer's would be given 21 days apart, Moderna's 28 days apart. But the biggest difference between the 2 vaccine candidates is what will be required to store the drugs once they arrive in medical facilities around the country. Pfizer's version requires deep freezing. Those vials must be kept at temperatures lower than negative 94 degrees Fahrenheit. But pharmacies and medical facilities in the U.S. are not equipped with that type of storage capacity. Now, that is not required for Moderna's version. That can be stored for up to 6 months at temperatures between 36 and 48 degrees. Now, Pfizer is expected to seek regulatory approval sometime this week. Moderna will follow suit in the next couple of weeks, both companies hoping to send out as many as 20 to 50 million doses of their vaccine candidates by the end of the year.
Frog, I don't mind. It's what's in there that we'll get to in a moment. This guy is awesome.
Yeah, isn't he amazing? This is an African bullfrog, and he's not even full size yet. And
We have some other things you're going to be bringing up here as well.
We sure do. Yes, we have lots of creepy crawlies. In fact, this one right here.
I kind of like the tarantula. He's kind of cool.
Yeah, you know,
Do you want me to take him?
Of him. If you feel comfortable with that, sure. Yep. This is
I've never held a tarantula before.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, this is quite an experience. This is a Chilean rose hair tarantula.
Here, so go ahead with that. I'm getting up.
You don't want to get too close to this one? This right here is our boa constrictor. Are you sure you don't want to come over and say hi?
I'm positive. I'm good right over here.
Yeah. So just like you're wondering, a lot of people have a fear of snakes. Now, we've tapped into those fears, and we've got even more ways to frighten you at Howl-O-Scream than ever before.
Yeah.
We do have...
Potter.
There you go. She's a little closer. There you go. Perfect.